General Hospital Spoilers teases that Sonny Corinthos has always been one step ahead, but this time, even the legendary mob boss admits the game has changed. In a shocking new turn of events, the man who fears nothing has orchestrated the most audacious ruse of his career, and he's enlisted the unwavering loyalty of Carly Spencer in a plan so daring, it could either save his life or destroy everything he holds dear. The Grand Masquerade, Colette's betrayal, and Sonny's masterstroke. The sterile whiteness of the Los Angeles clinic corridor belies the treachery lurking behind its polished doors. As the soft hum of ventilators and distant echoes of hurried footsteps fill the air, Colette Abu silently approaches Sonny's private room. Dressed in a crisp white nurse's uniform, mask concealing her features, she glides through the space with the grace of a deadly predator. Unbeknownst to her, Sonny Corinthos stands ready, every muscle attuned, every nerve sharpened by the intimate knowledge of her betrayal. Earlier that week, Sonny had been tipped off by an unexpected source. The formidable Dex Heller, his ally in the WSB, had intercepted a fragment of conversation implicating Colette. Charged with public relations for Brennan Enterprises, Colette had volunteered to provide nursing assistance to Sonny during his supposed recovery in the wake of his brutal penthouse explosion. Yet the syringe she carried was not filled with saline. It contained a lethal cocktail designed to end Sonny's reign and silence him forever. While the world assumed Sonny was incapacitated, he had quietly suspected that the explosion, far too precise, timed to coincide with Michael's birthday, was orchestrated from the shadows. His instincts screamed inside job, and when a coded note arrived at his bedside, one that only those within Jack Brennan's inner sanctum could compose, Sonny's suspicion sharpened into a chilling certainty. Brennan, his former confidant-turned-adversary, had ordered an all-out hit. So Sonny waited. He allowed Colette to make her move. The moment she leaned over the right side of his bed, syringe poised, he seized her wrist, twisted with bone-crunching force, and wrested the weapon from her grasp. The glass tip shattered against the floor with a sharp crack, its contents seeping into the sterile tile. Colette recoiled, hissing in rage and fear, but Sonny's steely glare pinned her in place. In that heartbeat, he offered her a choice: confess her true allegiances, or face a fate far worse than any syringe could deliver. Blood trickled from a cut above Sonny's eyebrow, a souvenir of Colette's desperate fight, but he barely flinched. With unwavering calm, he delivered a message that sent a shiver through Colette's soul. "You work for Brennan. You're his pawn, but your days are numbered." After securing Colette unconscious, Sonny retrieved the note he had been waiting for and studied it one last time. Verify termination. Proceed to deniability. JB. The signature and verbiage were unmistakable. This wasn't merely an attempt on his life. It was a strategic maneuver in a broader war to dismantle his empire. And if Sonny Corinthos had learned one immutable truth in his decades of bloodshed, it was that sometimes one must appear dead to strike the final blow. Sonny's decision: he would fake his own death. Back in Carly's private suite at the clinic, the tension was suffocating. Carly Spencer had never felt more fragile. The memory of Sonny's collapse, the sight of Colette's syringe, the blood on the floor, it all danced in her mind like a grotesque ballet. When Sonny limped into the room, head bandaged but eyes aflame with purpose, she burst into tears. He bent down, gently wiping her cheeks, and whispered the words she never expected to hear: "I have a plan. But you must trust me." Minutes later, he laid out every detail. Carly's role would be pivotal. She would announce his death. She would summon Alexis Davis, Diane Miller, and Jason Morgan to the clinic. In full view of the world, bodyguards, hospital staff, discreet cameras, she would weep at his bedside and declare, in a voice trembling with sorrow, that Sonny Corinthos had succumbed to his injuries. Tears would stain her cheeks. Heartbreak would seize her. And in her arms would rest the urn containing his ashes, an urn prepared by Sonny's most trusted enforcer, complete with a temporary inscription and a sealed compartment for the final note to Brennan. The news would blow through Port Charles like a Category 5 hurricane. Rumors would swirl, alliances would fray, and the underworld would scramble to fill the vacuum. But buried within that cyclone of grief would be a single, damning secret. Brennan would believe his mission complete. The hitman's task finished. The boss of Port Charles silenced. Only then would Sonny, operating from the shadows under a new identity, draw out Brennan and expose him as the puppet master. Carly listened, her mind a tumult of dread and resolve. She had always been Sonny's anchor, but now she would be his greatest accomplice. When she asked if she could back out, tears threatening to spill again, Sonny squeezed her hand. "No. You and we were always in this together." And so the stage was set. A faked funeral, a charade of mourning, and the promise that the real enemy would finally reveal himself in full view of the city. Shadows of betrayal, the explosion conspiracy, and Carly's agonizing choice. No sooner had the plan taken root than Sonny dropped another bombshell. During a clandestine meeting in the sterile gloom of his makeshift safe house, an unmarked penthouse suite across from the clinic, he confronted Carly with a truth so staggering it threatened to shatter her world. "Brennan didn't just try to kill me once," Sonny began, removing a small photo from his jacket pocket. The image was grainy, but unmistakable. The moment of the penthouse explosion, walls aflame, Michael thrown clear of the blast. The crimson scars lining Michael's arms, the fear in his eyes, it was carved into Carly's memory. He orchestrated that too. Carly's breath caught. Michael, her stepson, her most cherished child, had been gravely injured in what everyone believed to be an accident. Yet here was proof. Brennan had planted the bomb to wound Michael and destroy Sonny's home base. "He wanted to break me by breaking my family," Sonny continued. And he almost succeeded. For the first time, Carly saw the full measure of Brennan's ruthlessness. The man she had shared moments of unexpected intimacy with, moments born of vulnerability and mutual respect, was capable of orchestrating terror against innocent lives. The realization crushed her. As she struggled to grasp the betrayal, Sonny revealed the final piece of the puzzle: Jocelyn Jacks. "She's his mole," he said quietly, naming a young agent in the WSB whose scholarly veneer masked a calculating allegiance to Brennan. "She's been feeding them information, our moves, our weaknesses." Carly recoiled. Jocelyn, brilliant, idealistic Jocelyn, working for the enemy? The thought felt obscene, but Sonny's tone was certain. He had confirmation, an intercepted transmission, fingerprints on secret documents. Jocelyn had been groomed for this role long before entering law school. The weight of it all settled on Carly's shoulders. She had to perform the ultimate deceit, mourn Sonny's death, knowing he was alive, and setting the final trap for Brennan. And she had to do it while grappling with her own conflicting emotions, particularly her lingering affection for Brennan himself. Carly had never imagined falling for a Brennan. Jack Brennan was nothing like Sonny, refined, urbane, a master of subtler games. Their relationship had been a surprising detour from her life of violence and betrayal. She had allowed herself to feel, if only briefly, that someone outside the Corinthos world could love her unconditionally. But now, confronted with evidence of Brennan's capacity for cruelty, every memory of tenderness twisted into a mockery. The clock ticked inexorably toward the appointed hour. Carly donned a conservative black dress, the fabric heavy against her skin, and applied makeup that would accentuate her grief. She clutched the urn, Sonny's ashes, so tightly her knuckles whitened. When Diane, Alexis, and Jason entered the room, their faces etched with shock, she collapsed into sobs so real, each convulsion threatened to spill the urn from her lap. "He fought so hard," she whispered through tears. But the injuries were too severe. He didn't make it. For a moment, the world halted. Diane covered her mouth. Alexis dropped to her knees. Jason's jaw clenched in grief and rage. Soon, phones were whipped out. Reporters gathered at the clinic entrance. Social media erupted. But far away, in a nondescript safe house in the desert, under the protection of Sonny's loyal crew, Sonny watched the chaos unfold on a concealed monitor. A slow smile curved his lips. Brennan would see it soon enough. Meanwhile, Carly returned to Port Charles in a sleek black SUV, urn in hand, traveling through familiar streets that felt alien in their normalcy. Every glance from passers-by felt like an accusation. Every honk of a distant car seemed to mock her sorrow. Yet she pressed on, determined to complete her role in Sonny's scheme. As she passed the Quartermain mansion, she spotted Jocelyn slipping through the gate. Guilt sharpened. Jocelyn's betrayal had been instrumental in endangering Sonny's life. Carly made a mental note. After the funeral, she would confront Jocelyn, expose her duplicity, and sever any lingering ties. The world would know that Jack Brennan's empire was built on treachery, down to its youngest foot soldier. But first, Carly had to see Sonny buried. At the makeshift memorial in the courtyard of General Hospital, a simple casket draped in Venetian black satin, friends and family gathered to pay their respects. The air was heavy with candle smoke and whispered prayers. Among the mourners, Alexis and Diane exchanged pained glances. Jason tightened his fist around the hilt of his coat. Yet none suspected that the strings of this macabre puppet show led directly to Jack Brennan. In the front row, Carly knelt beside Sonny's casket and addressed the crowd in trembling tones. Sonny Corinthos was more than a mob boss. He was a father figure, a protector, a friend. Her voice cracked. He was my rock, my anchor. And now he's gone. When the time came to scatter the ashes, Carly produced the urn and, in a hushed farewell, released its contents into the wind. The light California breeze carried the tiny gray flecks across the courtyard. Cameras zoomed in, capturing every grain. Somewhere, Brennan's paranoia flared. Had the mission truly succeeded? Did the ashes confirm the body was gone? His phone buzzed with a silent transmission. Confirmation. Only then did Sonny slip from the cell of witnesses like a ghost, trading his clinic gown for a black hoodie and sunglasses. Carly's ruse had worked. With Brennan convinced of his demise, Sonny was free to strike at the heart of the conspiracy that had nearly cost him everything. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over Port Charles, Carly's heart remained heavy. She had betrayed Brennan's memory, participated in a charade of grief, and uncovered a web of deceit that threatened to consume everyone she loved. And still, the final act had yet to play out. In the days to come, Brennan would discover that his puppet show had been exposed. He would learn that Sonny Corinthos, presumed dead, lived on and that the real game had only just begun. General Hospital spoilers never felt so real. The carnival of lies, the masquerade of death, and the final reckoning, Port Charles stands on the brink of a war darker than any seen before. And as the curtain rises on the next act, one question echoes through every hall: who will stand victorious when the smoke of betrayal clears?